So can you just speak a little bit about how you found working at different sized businesses and a bit about the pros and cons of each of them?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I haven't worked at a 100,000 person global business. I've worked at a larger business, so a 1,500 person business, global. So and quite a relatively slowish moving business. So steady Eddie, uh, increase in revenue year over year, but ultimately not a mammoth. Versus working in startups. So I then moved down to the startup world. Now, first and foremost, I think it's personal preference where you land and what you wanna do. In big business, it feels more secure, slow moving. It's not necessarily more secure. You see a lot of the layoffs that are happening now across the tech industry. However, it feels more secure. I think it's for people coming out of the military. You're in a big organization, so to move into a big organization, especially a brand name, I'm calling some out, but the big names that we see in our space, that Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan's, AWS, they're big businesses and great businesses to go and work for. But ultimately, they've all got different ways of working. They're also they're a massive beast. You're a kind of number, a part of a big thing. Whereas you move down to the startup world and you've got to have more of a risk appetite. The rewards are maybe if it's successful, statistically, you're more likely to be unsuccessful than you are successful in the startup world. That's the reality. So you've got to have more of a risk appetite. The value you get from there is you are cross-functional, massively cross-functional. If you want to learn about business as a whole, it's a great place to learn about business. I feel like it's a bit more like a mess. The camaraderie, the teamwork, you're all in it together. The purpose is there, but ultimately, it is more risky. The reality. There are good and bad. There are pros and cons for both, in my opinion. And you've really got to. For me, it took me to get into big business, but then I worked my way down to the startup world. And what I found super important for every single stage was half the battle is having a good boss, having a good manager. And I don't know if I won't swear, but if your boss is a douchebag, then it's gonna be tough on the offset. So I think you got this mindset when you're interviewing that I want this job. You've applied for it because you want the job. It's something that's cool, something's appealing to you. So you've always got this kind of commitment in your mind that this is the job I want. I need to get this job. So that might mean when you're going through the interview process and you meet your hiring manager and there are red flags, you might kind of brush that under the carpet and say, it'll be fine. Maybe, I really want to work at this company. But I'd urge you just to take a step back and consider it. There are plenty more opportunities out there. Just remember that it's not the only one for you. But getting your direct line manager right is for me probably the most important thing, regardless of the size of the business.